Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex here. Welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about who could possibly be the next F1 superstar. We've recently seen a couple of people rise through the ranks like Pierre Gasly and also Charles Leclerc make it into Formula 1 for 2018 with a full-time ride. And in today's video we're going to be talking through some of the possibilities in the future about who could make it into Formula 1 by looking at the junior categories right now and seeing who's doing well and who can make it all the way to the top. So I wrote down 9 people I think that could realistically make it to the top in the next couple of years. Of course, leave your comments down below if you agree with any of these or not, and possibly mention down below about who you think is going to be making, or the first one of these maybe, that could be making the step up to the big time in Formula 1. So we're going to start off this video with Lando Norris. He did a really incredible F3 campaign in his rookie year to wrap up the title on I think the opening race of the Hockenheim round in 2017. And I was there actually on that day, and it was incredible to see the celebrations after that race. And Lando Norris, crowned champion in his rookie season, whilst a lot of the other rookies didn't score anywhere near as many points as him in that season. And a lot of the championship contenders, or pretty much all of his championship contenders, were people in their second or third season. So incredible job from Lando Norris to wrap it up in his rookie season. I think personally we're going to see him in the next couple of years progress through the ranks. He's into F2 next year, that's confirmed with the Carlin team. So we're going to see if he can keep that momentum up and possibly make it into Formula 1 soon. Who knows, he could be the person to replace Fernando Alonso at McLaren when he inevitably leaves in a couple of years, when he decides to go on to his new ventures, possibly IndyCar, possibly Le Mans. So who knows, maybe Lando Norris could be the one replacing Fernando Alonso at the McLaren team in the next couple of years. Next up is George Russell. He's the Mercedes test driver, and he's done an incredible job in GP3 this year, wrapping up the title, beating all 3 of his ART teammates who were pressuring him the whole season. He did a fantastic job to wrap up the title. George Russell did a great job this season, beating his teammates who were pressuring him the whole season. We'll talk about a couple of them later in this video as well, but being the Mercedes young driver as well, he's doing a great job in these junior categories. I'm assuming he's going to be making the step into Formula 2 next year, alongside obviously the person we've talked about already, which is Lando Norris. So it's going to be interesting to see. A lot of these guys are going to be graduating to Formula 2 this year. We could have a superstar grid for the Formula 2 season in 2018. It's looking like it's going to be a stellar lineup with a brand new car as well. Everyone's sort of technically going to be a rookie to this car. So F2 2018, I'm going to say it right now, it's going to be a thrilling and entertaining season. Next up, we've got George Russell's teammate, or one of his teammates for the 2017 season in the ART GP3 team, and that is Jack Akin. Now, he did a fantastic job as well, picking up wins and podiums throughout the season as well. He just got beaten to the title by George Russell in the last couple of rounds, but he's actually a Renault young driver as well, so he's got that push from a Renault sort of Formula 1 team behind him as well. So it's interesting to see a lot of these guys in the junior Formula nowadays are linked in some way to a Formula 1 team. Now, I could be wrong. I doubt that Jack Akin's going to be staying in GP3 for another season. I can see him promoting or getting promoted to Formula 2 for next season, or he could go a different route, possibly over to America, Indy Lights, IndyCar, that sort of thing. But I can see him staying in Europe at least for a couple more years, and who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of years. As I said, F2 2018 is going to be a stellar grid, I think, and he could be well part of this. And it's going to be really interesting to see once again all these guys in the junior category sort of coming through the ranks together. There's only so many F1 seats that could be filled in the next couple of years, but Jack Akin, powered along by Renault, could be really interesting to see whether he could get promoted at least to sort of a reserve driver role at Renault, especially now Sorokin looks like he's going to be going to Williams. He could be the reserve driver for next season at Renault, and he could also be into an F2 car championship battle. It could be really interesting next year, and Jack Akin could well be in that battle for the F2 title. So the next 2 drivers on my list are 2 drivers that are competing in Formula 2 next year and slightly went under the radar but picked up some amazing results throughout the whole season. So first off is the Russian Artem Markelov. He came into Formula 2, or GP2 as it was back then, quite early, and he didn't get the results straight away. He wasn't one of those sort of drivers that jumped into the series and started winning straight away. The pace was always evident with Artem Markelov, but it only really came to fruition in the last couple of seasons. Markelov ended up picking up podiums and wins throughout the 2017 season, and surely is one of the strongest contenders going into 2018 as the F2 sort of championship battle comes together. I'm sure that he's going to be up there battling for the championship. The only problem he's going to have, he's had all this experience in the 2011 GP2 car, which has been used since obviously 2011 up to 2017, but for 2018 the F2 is now going to be going to a brand new car with a halo, different tyres, all that sort of stuff, which could be a bit of a stumbling block for Markelov, who did spend a little bit of time getting used to the old Formula 2 car. Can he adapt to the new one? He's obviously got the pace, it's just whether he can adapt quick enough and get into the series and battle for the championship once again. Next up is Lucca Fiat, another really fantastic driver in F2 last year who maybe slightly went under the radar. He also got some good podiums last year as well, and I think he grabbed a victory as well, I'm pretty sure, in the 2017 season. He also test drove the Williams car in 2017 as well, so he had a lot of experience in quick cars last year, but he didn't get the best championship result, I think through a little bit of a lack of consistency through the season. 2018 could be really interesting for Giotto. He could be gaining the championship once again. I think he finished 6th in the 2017 season, so he's up there now. I think he's going to be going to one of the better teams for 2018, and it's going to look really exciting. This championship battle we've been talking about, so many drivers on this list could be battling for the F2 championship in 2018. Next up we have Callum Ilott, who was racing in Formula 3 alongside the likes of Lando Norris in 2017. Now, unfortunately, he wasn't really battling for the championship last year, was Callum Ilott, but he did get recognised by Ferrari, and he's actually now a Ferrari young driver, which is really interesting going on into the 2018 season. I think Callum Ilott finished 5th in the 2017 standings in Formula 3, which to some people might not be that incredible, but the level and talent in Formula 3 last year was really high, and so many drivers in their second season as well, so I think that's an impressive result for Callum Ilott. I think with the Ferrari backing as well, he could definitely go through the ranks a little bit easier without the worry of not having any sort of money to promote himself throughout the season and throughout the categories. So it's going to be interesting into the next couple of years where he will go. Will he follow the likes of someone like Charles Leclerc, who's sort of excelled obviously whilst being a part of the Ferrari Young Drivers program? We will see. Now, I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with him for next season, where he's going to stay in Formula 3, possibly transfer to GP3, or maybe even go to Formula 2 again. Like most of these drivers I've talked about already could be in Formula 2 for next season. We will see, but nonetheless, wherever he goes, I think he's going to be very successful, especially now with the Ferrari backing. That extra support, I think, is going to be incredibly important for him, and into 2018, I'm sure he's going to be battling for a championship wherever he ends up racing. Now, next up is an interesting one. It's Maximilian Günther. Now, he was racing in the BWT sponsored team that were sponsoring Force India last season in Formula 1, the pink livery team. They sponsor a lot of teams out in Europe. He was racing for Muka Motorsport, sponsored by BWT in 2017, and he had a really incredible season. It just unfortunately came undone in the last couple of rounds for him, and he couldn't battle for the championship alongside Lando Norris. But he was an incredible driver. Even though he finished 3rd in his second season and finished 2nd in his first season, he still showed in the 2017 season especially that he was a very talented driver and should be promoted through the ranks. Now, he was linked to a Mercedes seat, I think, in the DTM for next season, but I think that's cooled down a little bit, so maybe he could be continuing on in single-seaters for the next couple of years. I doubt he'll stay in Formula 3. He could transfer over to GP3 or could possibly go on to Formula 2. We will see, but he's an incredibly talented driver. I think it was slightly, once again, going under the radar a little bit just because Lando Norris was doing so incredibly last year, but it'll be really interesting to see. I think Maximilian Günther is an incredible driver, a little bit unlucky at the end of the 2017 season, but yeah, I think he'll be once again one of those guys battling for a championship next season wherever he ends up. Now, Dan Ticktum, he's probably one of the most junior drivers in this sort of list right now. I think he's only 18 years old, and he actually came back from a 2-year ban, which happened something earlier on in his career where he got involved in an accident. You guys can search it online. It's quite a strange sort of turn of events, but he's came back from that suspension and he's done really well. He's now sponsored by Red Bull as well, which is a really great thing. Yes, Red Bull was a bit of a ruthless society, I guess, in the world of motorsport, because they'll, you don't perform, they're going to get, they're going to cut you off straight away. But Dan Ticktum has got the support from Red Bull going forward. He did pretty good in Formula Renault, and I think he did a couple of GP3 and F3 races last year as well, which he did pretty good in as well. I'm pretty sure he definitely got some podiums. I'm not sure he got a win. He probably got a win, but he also won the Autosport Award for 2017 as well, which is really impressive for a young driver. So it's for the British young driver, one of the people that's up and coming, and they get to test the McLaren car for next season. So that's going to be interesting. Red Bull sponsored McLaren test drive for next season. We'll see how that goes. But Dan Ticktum is definitely someone to look out for next season. I'm not sure exactly where he's going to race. He definitely did some races in GP3 at the end of last year, which he did quite well in. I think, as I said, probably got a victory. I can't remember now. I think he got a victory at the end of the 2017 season. So most likely he's going to do a full season in GP3 next year, possibly F3. But I can't see him, out of everyone on this list, I can't see him going to Formula 2 next year. I think, as I said, he's quite young already, so he doesn't really need to be promoted all the way up to Formula 2 already. I think GP3 another season, that would be fantastic for him. Formula 2 might be a bit too much of a step considering he's racing Formula Renault 2-litre cars cars earlier on in this year, so it's going to be interesting. But I definitely think Dan Ticktum, especially if you're British, someone to look out for in the next couple of years. He came through adversity right back to the top once again, showing what a fantastic driver he is. So now to the last person on my list. He's another one of the ART GP3 drivers. I could list all of them actually. I think it's Antoine Hubert, I think is his name. Also another ART driver which we could mention as well. I think he's a French driver who's done fantastic in the other formulas as well that he's been in, obviously battling for the championship last year in GP3 as well. But today it's going to be Nairo Fukuzumi, which is on my list as well. He's actually in my Volkswagen career mode, I think, if you remember that on my channel a couple of months ago. He was in that racing for one of the teams. So yeah, Nairo Fukuzumi, an incredible driver, and he was a little bit unlucky in the 2017 season. He had a little bit of unreliability that his other teammates didn't, so that's probably part of the reason why he wasn't battling for the championship right to the end. But he's an incredible driver from Japan. I think Japan definitely wants to get a driver through the, through the formulas in the next couple of years, especially with Honda now backing with Toro Rosso and maybe even becoming a team, a works team once again in a couple of years. Honda, we could see that happening, possibly buying out Toro Rosso. So yeah, I think Fukuzumi's definitely one to look out for. He's probably going to be going to Formula 2 next year. But so there's so many great drivers coming through the categories now. It's just about who's going to be able to make it to the top. Who's it going to be? Leave your comments down below. That'd be really interesting to see. Maybe out of the 9 people, even 10 people, or if you include Hubert I mentioned on this list, who do you think is going to be the first one to break into Formula 1? That'd be an interesting one. So I'll read down the list once again. We've got Lando Norris, George Russell, Jack Akin, Artem Markelov, Lucca Fiat, Callum Ilott, Maximilian Günther, Dan Ticktum, Nairo Fukuzumi, and we also mentioned there Antoine Hubert, who raced for ART and GP3 as well. All those drivers, maybe in the comment section down below, you can let me know who you think is going to be the first out of those drivers to make it into Formula 1. So big seasons for all of these drivers coming up, and many other fantastic drivers across the world really racing, and I probably haven't mentioned them. I haven't had the time to mention them all. I've sort of just gone through some of the main sort of feeder series to Formula 1 and sort of seen who's been doing well, and obviously I watch all of the series as well, so I've got a bit of knowledge about who's good, who's not so good, and yeah. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. And I'm hopefully going to be going to some more DTM events in the next couple of years, guys. So please in the comment section down below, let me know if there's any people in the junior categories that you'd like to see. So DTM has Formula 3 as a major support series. So let me know if there's any other Formula 3 drivers you'd like me to interview for my Behind the Visor series on my YouTube channel, which once again, guys, if you haven't checked out, I'd really appreciate it. First one up with Bruno Spengler, DTM champion of 2012. And yeah, I'm hoping to continue that series into 2018. We've already got some interviews lined up, which is really awesome, with some really fantastic drivers as well. Some of the best drivers in the world I've already got locked down to interview in 2018, which is really awesome. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I really appreciate if you could leave a donation down below. There's a link down below, but completely understand if you don't. Leave a like, that'd be fantastic. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.